Part 5.25. The Table, Al-Ma'idah, Kanzul Iman, Quran. The Table, 5 to 95. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. Dear viewers, our profound and scholarly journey through the divine verses of Surah Al-Ma'idah continues as we now venture into a segment that is both a legal treatise and a deep spiritual lesson. In our previous discourse, we explored the timeless wisdom of divine boundaries. It's understanding how Allah has provided for us a beautiful and balanced path, free from the spiritual dangers of both heedlessness and self-imposed extremism. We learned that the path to piety lies not in making unlawful what Allah has made lawful, but in living a life of gratitude and spiritual discipline. Today, the divine discourse escalates in its precision and depth, focusing on the solemnity of the pilgrimage and the ultimate justice of Allah. The verses we will meticulously analyze: Kanzul Iman Quran, the Table 5 to 95, to Kanzul Iman Quran, the Table 5 to 98, are not merely a set of legal pronouncements. They are a direct and powerful address to the soul, revealing the profound spiritual discipline required of the pilgrim and the absolute sovereignty of the divine. These verses unveil the spiritual purpose of the pilgrimage, the significance of the sacred months, and the ultimate balance of Allah's justice and mercy. We will delve into these verses, exploring their deeper meaning through the rich tradition of Sufi spiritual wisdom, fresh scholarly commentary, and powerful Hadith, to provide a comprehensive PhD-level understanding of this pivotal passage. Verses 5 to 95, 5 to 98, the sanctity of the pilgrimage. And divine justice, the verses that form the core of our discussion today, are as follows. Kanzul Iman Quran, the Table, 5 to 95. O you who have believed, do not kill game while you are in the state of ihram, and whoever of you kills it intentionally. The penalty is a proportional equivalent of the game he killed, to be determined by two just men among you, as an offering due at the Kaaba, or an expiation, a feeding of poor people, or the equivalent of that in fasting, that he may taste the consequence of his deed. Allah has pardoned what is past, but whoever returns to transgression, then Allah will take retribution from him. And Allah is exalted in might and owner of retribution. Kanzul Iman Quran, the Table. 5 to 96. Lawful to you is game from the sea, and its food is provision for you and the travelers. But forbidden to you is game from the land as long as you are in the state of ihram, and fear Allah to whom you will be gathered. Quran, the Table, 5 to 97. Allah has made the Kaaba, the sacred house, a support for the people, and the sacred months, and the sacrificial animals, and the garlands. That is so, you may know that Allah knows whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth, and that Allah is knowing of all things. Kanzul Iman Quran, the Table, 5 to 98. Know that Allah is severe in penalty, and that Allah is also forgiving and merciful. These verses deliver a powerful and uncompromising message that guides the believers towards a life of spiritual purity and conscious obedience. The divine discourse begins with a profound and direct prohibition, stating, O you who have believed, do not kill game while you are in the state of ihram. This command is a foundational principle of the pilgrimage and a profound spiritual test. It then immediately follows with a detailed legal framework for those who transgress this sacred boundary. The penalty is not a single arbitrary punishment, but a multi-tiered expiation, offering options for redress that are commensurate with the transgression. The intentional act of hunting is met with a specific penalty, a proportional equivalent of the game killed, either through a sacrificial animal brought to the Kaaba, or by feeding a specific number of poor people, or by fasting for a determined number of days. This is a clear testament to the divine wisdom that combines justice with mercy. The verses then shift to an important distinction between land and sea game. Lawful to you is game from the sea, and its food is provision for you and the travelers. But forbidden to you is game from the land as long as you are in the state of ihram. This highlights the precision and detail of divine law. It is not an arbitrary rule, but one with specific application. This is followed by a profound verse that explains the spiritual and existential purpose of the sacred Kaaba and the sacred months. Allah has made the Kaaba, the sacred house, a support for the people, ... This is a powerful metaphor for the Kaaba's role as a spiritual anchor, a physical manifestation of divine order, and a source of peace and security for all of humanity. The final verse, "Know that Allah is severe in penalty, and that Allah is also forgiving and merciful," provides the ultimate summary of the divine reality. It is a powerful and balanced statement of Allah's attributes, revealing that His justice is absolute and His mercy is all-encompassing. It is a profound lesson for the believer, who must live in a state of both hope and fear of their Lord. Context of Revelation: the ultimate test of faith. The historical and theological context of these verses is of paramount importance. The verses on the prohibition of hunting during Ihram were revealed as a direct legal ruling to protect the sanctity of the pilgrimage. In pre-Islamic Arabia, hunting was a common and often celebrated practice. However, the state of Ihram, with its symbolic white garments and stripped-down appearance, is designed to erase all worldly distinctions and desires. The prohibition of hunting, therefore, is not about the act of hunting itself, but about the profound spiritual transformation that is required of the pilgrim. It is a test of a person's self-control and their willingness to submit to divine commands, even when the temptation is great and they are far from the watchful eyes of others. The verse, "that Allah may make evident those who fear Him unseen," from the previous section, is a perfect precursor to this verse, as it explains the spiritual wisdom behind this seemingly harsh prohibition. It is a test of a person's inner sincerity and their commitment to a law that is not based on social norms but on divine command. The pilgrims are tested on the most basic of human desires, the urge to hunt for food, so that their sincerity can be made manifest. The verses also provide a profound legal and spiritual framework for dealing with transgressions. The expiation for killing game is not a random punishment, but a deliberate and proportional response. The options provide an offering, feeding the poor, or fasting are all acts of charity and spiritual discipline that serve to purify the soul of the transgressor. The verse then provides a profound statement of divine pardon. Allah has pardoned what is past, which refers to any accidental transgressions that occurred before the revelation of this law. However, it is immediately followed by a powerful warning. But whoever returns to transgression, then Allah will take retribution from him. This is a clear and unambiguous statement that Allah's mercy is for those who are sincere and seek forgiveness, but His justice is absolute for those who persist in their disobedience. This balance of forgiveness and retribution is a powerful and recurrent theme in the Quran. The verses also highlight the immense importance of the Kaaba, the sacred months, and the sacrificial animals, declaring them to be a support for the people. This is a profound statement that these are not mere rituals, but are the very pillars of a spiritual and social system that brings stability, security, and divine order to human life. Sufi perspective: the path of Tazkiyat an-Nafs. From a Sufi perspective, these verses provide a profound lesson on the spiritual realities of Tazkiyat an-Nafs. Purification of the soul. The Sufi understands that the pilgrimage is not just a physical journey to a geographical location, but a spiritual journey to the very heart of one's being. The state of Ihram is a symbolic and spiritual state of death. The pilgrim sheds the clothes of the world and dons two simple white cloths, just as a person is wrapped in a shroud after death. The pilgrim is also forbidden from engaging in worldly pleasures, from wearing perfume to cutting hair and nails. The prohibition of hunting, therefore, is not a random legal ruling, but a profound spiritual discipline. It is a direct and powerful lesson on fana, annihilation of the self. The pilgrim is symbolically dying to their worldly desires and their lower self-nafs, alamara, and seeking to live in a state of pure submission and existence in Allah Baka. The Sufi understands that the act of hunting is an expression of the lower self's desire for dominance and control over the world. The divine prohibition, therefore, is a spiritual test that forces the pilgrim to submit their lower self and its desires to the divine will. The pilgrim is taught to have reverence for all of Allah's creation, even the smallest of creatures, as they are all created by the same divine hand. This spiritual discipline is a core part of the Sufi path, which is built on a constant state of spiritual vigilance. The pilgrim is taught to have an acute awareness of their actions and their consequences, both in this world and the next. The verses, therefore, are a powerful reminder that the path to spiritual purity is found in a person's unwavering obedience to Allah's command, even when the temptation is great. The verses beautifully illustrate that true spiritual life is not about finding freedom in one's desires, but about finding true freedom in submission to Allah. This submission is what purifies the soul and prepares it for an ultimate reunion with the divine. Commentary from Ziya-ul-Quran, a scholarly analysis of divine law. The Ziya-ul-Quran commentary on these verses provides a penetrating and scholarly analysis that illuminates the legal and spiritual weight of this divine discourse. The commentator explains in great detail the various types of game that are prohibited during Ihram, breaking down the legal rulings with precision. The commentary highlights that the penalty for the transgression is not just a financial payment, but a spiritual expiation that is designed to cleanse the soul of the one who has transgressed. Commentator meticulously breaks down the different options available to a person, explaining that the option of a proportional offering is based on the value of the animal killed, as determined by two just men. This is a testament to the just and equitable nature of Islamic law. The commentary also explains the option of feeding the poor or fasting as an alternative, which are both powerful acts of charity and spiritual discipline. The Ziya-ul-Quran commentary further provides a profound analysis of verse 5 to 97, which declares the Kaaba as a support for the people. The commentator explains that the Kaaba is not just a building, but a spiritual and physical axis that has been made a center of peace and security for all of humanity. It is the spiritual heart of the Muslim world, and its sanctity is a testament to the divine order. The commentary elaborates on the importance of the sacred months and the sacrificial animals, explaining their role in establishing a spiritual and social order that is based on divine law. The commentary concludes with a powerful and nuanced analysis of verse 5 to 98, which states that Allah is both severe in penalty and forgiving and merciful. The commentator explains that these are not contradictory attributes, but are two sides of the same divine reality. Allah's severity is a manifestation of His justice, and His forgiveness is a manifestation of His mercy. This verse serves as a powerful reminder that a believer must live a life of both fear and hope, knowing that Allah's justice is absolute, but His mercy is all-encompassing. Hadith. With reference, the rewards of a sincere pilgrimage in the sanctity of the sacred house, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught extensively on the divine truth of the laws of Allah and the spiritual wisdom that underpins them, providing a perfect framework for understanding these verses. A profound and moving hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 1521, provides a poignant commentary on the immense reward of a sincere pilgrimage. Prophet, peace be upon him, taught. The reward for a sincere and accepted pilgrimage is nothing less than paradise. This hadith beautifully links the spiritual state of a person with their ultimate fate. It shows that a person who is in a state of spiritual negligence will have a heart that is veiled from the divine light. The hadith serves as a powerful reminder that the laws of Allah are not arbitrary, but are a manifestation of His perfect and absolute knowledge. Another hadith from Sahih Muslim, hadith number 1356, provides a clear and unambiguous statement about the sanctity of the sacred city of Mecca. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught. Indeed, Allah made Mecca sacred on the day He created the heavens and the earth. It will remain sacred until the day of resurrection. It was not lawful for anyone to fight in it before me, and it was made lawful for me only for a short period of a day. It is forbidden to kill its animals, or to uproot its trees, or to pick up its lost items, except for the one who announces it. This hadith beautifully links the spiritual state of a person with their ultimate fate. It shows that a person who is in a state of spiritual negligence will have a heart that is veiled from the divine light. The hadith serves as a powerful reminder that the laws of Allah are not arbitrary, but are a manifestation of His perfect and absolute knowledge. A final hadith from Sunan Abi Dawud, hadith number 3680, provides a clear and unambiguous statement about the nature of a person's heart. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, "Intoxicants are the mother of all evils, and it is the greatest of sins." This hadith beautifully links the spiritual state of a person with their ultimate fate. It shows that a person who is in a state of spiritual negligence will have a heart that is veiled from the divine light. The Hadith serves as a powerful reminder that the laws of Allah are not arbitrary, but are a manifestation of His perfect and absolute knowledge. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim.